Well, hey, everybody. Hi, it's Becky from Power Tools with Thread. And this is day number 2 of making the OESD freestanding pumpkins. Hello, everybody in the chat. Good afternoon. Great to see you guys. Oh, my goodness. Little Dottie, she's at the baby gate going, can I come in, please? No. No. She'll want a treat, and we don't have that. Hi, Dee. Hello. Glad you guys have joined me. So yesterday at 1 o'clock, the video was on August 3rd, 2026. If you're looking back in the archives years from now, I showed how to read the pattern from OESD. And my dog wants out. I've got one in here who was sneaking in. I tell you what, we're going to, those of you who are new to this, my channel and my live streams, I apologize, but this is my life. We have dogs, and when I live stream, they think they get something right. So let's do that. Why don't we have a lunch biscuit? You haven't had your lunch biscuit yet, have you? No, you haven't. There's one for you and one for you. Okay. Daddy is out, so I'm on my own here managing my dogs. Sorry about that. Oh, they're already trying to come back in. I can hear her through the doggy door there. Okay. All right, you guys. So thank you. Well, I get some people, whatever happened to if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. I don't know whatever happened to that. People hide behind a screen name and become very ugly. It's amazing. So anyway, let's get back to that. You got your seam ripper today, Leslie. Thank you. Awesome. Does the fixed side of the fuse and fix wash out in the last steps? I didn't notice it on the back when I did them the first time. So, Elizabeth, yeah. All right. So yesterday, I haven't washed it out, right? I don't think fuse and fix is water soluble. So I'm going to say no. It is still there. Okay. Now, I didn't wash this one. Obviously, you can still see the water soluble, but I don't believe fuse and fix is water soluble. Who would dare be ugly to me? Oh, you'd be surprised. We have a lot of people who, I have a little tiny corner of the internet on YouTube, and a lot of people don't know who I am. And then they'll come on here and they'll go, oh, you talk too much, or you're blah, 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 whatever, right? And I laugh all the way to the bank because it's still a comment and it's good for my algorithm. So it's okay, y'all. All righty. Oh, the virtual kitchen is open. Jaja's got little finger sandwiches. Awesome. Sweet. So what I'm going to do today, each one of these pumpkins has 6 wedges that puts them together. And yesterday we went baby step by baby step and did it the slow turtle way to make a single wedge of this quilted pumpkin wedge. Okay. This is going to be a pumpkin. It's a quilt block. Freestanding. I'm trying to get it all in at one time. And went through it. My bobbins are already made today. Yay! Yesterday was a show. Oh my word. Today, what I'm going to do is cut out 5 more of the shape form. Okay, the fiber form. I need 5 more of these, and I don't want to do them one at a time. So I'm going to use the Brother ScanNCut and Brother Canvas Workspace to cut these out. You do not need a Brother embroidery machine in order to use the ScanNCut or Canvas Workspace, which is very handy. So that's nice. If you guys do not have a Brother embroidery machine, that's okay. What we're going to be doing is prepping all the pieces. So I'm going to pre-cut my quilt block shapes, my fiber form, and all of that. Now, one piece of applique you wouldn't think about is actually the pumpkin wedge itself. It's the orange fabric on there. So I need to do an extra step because I do not want to trim away the orange fabric around the fiber form like you do when you baby step it, where you have to put the whole little rectangle over it, stitch down the tack down, and then let it, and then you have to trim it. I don't want to do that. So I am going to have the fabric already adhered to the fiber form before I get started. All right. And then it's going to cut everything all at once. So, all right, you guys, you got mimosas, Michelle, sweet. I have a glass of water. I'm working, but that's okay. I'll have one when we get finished. Now, one of the things you got to kind of think about when you're prepping all of your stuff is the width of your fiber form to start with. Okay. So you guys are drinking. That's not fair. All right. So I've got a new roll of fiber form here. You're going to need 2 rolls, maybe 3 to make this, all 3 of these pumpkins. So, because I went through a whole roll making the white pumpkins. Hey, neighbor Stephanie from Dallas. All right. I'm going to fill up a trash can today too. Now, while the ScanNCut mat is 12 inches wide, you know, we can bunch them up on there for 12. This is, how wide is this? This is only 10. This is only 10 inches wide. So I need a 10-inch wide strip of fabric to put on here. I adhere the fabric to this. This is not sticky in any way, okay, yet. So I'm going to adhere the fabric to this with hot fix adhesive. You can use heat and bond if you want, okay, but I'm going to use hot fix because that's what I use because I like it. So my tote bag is in the way with all my goodies in it. Y'all, if you don't have one of these punch tools, I have a link. I have links to all of this stuff below. Right below the tickets to Sewzona, there's the OESD section. The design, the pumpkins are on sale the 3rd through the 6th, okay, of August 2026. And there's a really cool set in there. I saw a new one. It's kind of a sugar skull. Very, very cool. Anyway, so this thing is the bomb. I've never seen anything work like it. I love this. So it has just this one tip right here, but you open this up and there are 2 other tips in there. Can you see those? So they're different millimeter size tips for cutting out. It's the most amazing hole punch. And this thing has like a, see how it's curved like a screwdriver? It has that, like a drill. It has like a drill neck. Very cool. And then it has this twist off right here. This is called, it's their big punch, right? And you can just change your tips. And your other tips are stored on board, which I love because I will lose them. This thing is so neat, so smooth, the action on it, y'all. It's the perfect punch is what it's called. Let me show you how it works. It's cool. I'm going to move you. This thing is so cool. This is a must for these things. You're absolutely right. Yeah, your name flipped by. I'm sorry, I missed it. So this punch tool. Now, another thing they have that's very cool, if you don't want to ruin your little cutting mat, they have these OESD mini mats. So cute. You get 2 of them in a package. Okay. Now, the pattern tells you that this is the 3 millimeter punch right here. See? So we're going through fabric and fiber form and 2 layers of stabilizer. Just watch. So let me put my glasses on so I can see what I'm saying. Okay. So I'm going to put this right in the middle there and just watch how smooth this is. I'm going to get my elbow out of the way. And that's it. It came up in there. And look at how clean and perfect that is. If you do not have this tool and you're going to be doing any kind of stuff like this, you definitely want this. Now, what's really neat is when you get finished, where's my little seam ripper thing? And you open this up, you can take your little stiletto from your Keith ripper you just got in the mail. Let me see. I'll use a pin. But you can take your little stiletto, okay? Right? And just push it out. And so let's see, the stiletto will get it out of there. There we go. Fell out. Whoop. Yeah. I used a stiletto yesterday. It came right out. But there, awesome sauce. Cleaned it right up. nice and easy. This thing is phenomenal. Love it, love it, love it. I was like, oh my goodness, when I felt that thing go funk, funk, very nice. How'd it go? Funk, funk. Yep. Very nice. All right. Okay. Now, for those of you, you're talking about downloading Canvas Workspace. Yeah. So those of you that are downloading Canvas Workspace, there's a new version. It's 2.7.1. Okay. You can use 2.7.0. Either one of those will work. But Canvas Workspace online version is going away on the 1st of October. So we all just better get used to using Canvas Workspace, the download version. It does not work on a laptop or an iPad. I'm sorry. It does not work on a tablet or an iPad or phone. It is a desktop version that will work on a desktop, tower, or a laptop. Let's have a seat. Oh, you like my, okay. Yeah, I love that it rotates too, Patty. She says, unlike other punches. Yeah, this thing is fantastic. I love it. So it's spinning that whole thing as it goes down and just slicing. That's why you get such a clean, perfect punch. Okay, so I need to keep in mind that my fiber form is only 10 inches wide, and I need to keep in mind that I need a little, boundary around the outside of that for those things. Okay, yes, it works on a Mac. It says PC, but it does work on a Mac as well. Okay, cuties mama. Yeah, I'm on a MacBook. It worked fine. It works fine. We're going to go over it too. I'm going to show you what to do and how to do it. Now, I need to print on my applique Fuse and Fix. Had some questions. Can I use Heat and Bond instead of applique Fuse and Fix? The answer is no, okay? Because this is sticky when you remove the backing, and you need that stickiness on there so that you can place it into the, you need to be able to place it into the placement line in the hoop with your 2 layers of stabilizer, okay? So I have one piece of this, and it wants you to print this on the paper side. So you've got a rough, scratchy side and a paper side, okay? To be honest, when you're using the method I'm using today, it doesn't really matter. You just need to make sure that you're going to have a mirrored set of your applique block pieces. For the pumpkin wedge, whether it's printed this way or this way makes no difference, because all of the pumpkin wedges in each pumpkin are identical. So print, and you get it backwards, don't throw it away. You didn't make a boo-boo, it's fine, because we're going to fix all that. But I need to get this printed, okay, so I can put it on the back of my pumpkin. All right, so I'm going to go put this in my printer. My handy dandy little brother printer. You can use a normal everyday printer. I have the individual feed thing here, okay? And I need to put it paper side up for me. There, it just took it. Okay, that was easy. Hopefully it works. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes those individual, how long should it cut? Just be patient, girlfriend. Just be patient. We'll get there. Yesterday, mine said 11 minutes for the ScanNCut, but just hold on. All right. So we got a new member. Thanks for joining the members group. You're going to get, the new members get pre-recorded videos without all the chat distractions and detailed step-by-baby-step instructions, and you get 1 video a month. Y'all, a lady emailed me. She got the base price of the membership now is $1.99. Okay. And then if you're on an Apple device, Apple adds on a surcharge. Okay. If you're on Android, see, YouTube is Google and Android is Google. So I don't think there's a surcharge. I don't think. And then sometimes each individual state will throw on a little tax as well. So the base price is $1.99, which is a deal, okay, for the videos that I provide for the detailed instruction of what I'm doing. Most of it is Snapplique and ScanNCut. But, and Roadrunner, yeah, your internet service might add some. I don't know, you guys. I don't know. But all I can tell you is don't email me and tell me you're on Social Security and you want your, your overage, whatever was charged from $1.99, and can I set it back? Because no, I cannot, and I'm sorry. I cannot. Okay. Make sure your pockets are big. Everyone's putting their hands in them. Yeah, especially in New York, Debbie, huh? Not so bad down here in Texas. All right, y'all. I'm going to, we're going to get into Canvas Workspace. Do I have it on? I do. Okay. What am I doing? I need to share my screen with you guys so y'all can see what I am doing. I'm going to share my entire screen. And we're going to have a little bit of an infinity screen for a while. But this allows you to see all of the drop-down menus and all of that. I'm getting to how long you need to cut the fiber form. I'm getting there. Just a second. Okay, we'll get there. Just hold on. All right. I am going to go to my preview in Canvas. Now, this right here, this is included. This tells you these are your color stops, okay? So Pumpkin 2, Section 1 had 9 color stops, all right, which is fine. And then here is the other Quilt Pumpkin 2, Section 2, and it also has 9 color stops. It is a mirror image of its partner. So keep that in mind as you're thinking about how these things are going to be placed and figured out, okay? So we've got the little buttons over here on this side and the loops here. And here we've got the buttons over here on this side again, because these little buttons that are on the side go into the loops of these little, of this side. That's how they do that, okay? So if you look, all of the pumpkin base shape wedges are identical. The only thing that changes on them are the applique pieces, okay? They are mirrored, all right? So we're going to see Section 3 right here. We've got a little churn dash block, okay? And there's the left half of it, and there's your churn dash with the right half of it. These pieces on here are identical to here. They are just flipped. The churn dash pieces are flipped. But again, take a look. The design is the wedge. They are all identical. So what that means is that we can take a single wedge piece and duplicate it as many times as we need to cut it out all at one time in the space that we have. Okay. So that's what I needed to know for that. Now, I also need to pull up, let me see here. I wanted to see if oh, not this one. Sorry. Let's see. I'm back where I got to start right here because I made this one yesterday. No, I made this one yesterday. That's this guy right here, right? He turned out beautiful. So let me open up. I'm going into Finder, which is the same as the little yellow folder for you Windows users. And I'm opening up the instructions, and it's taken a second here. Are you going to open the instructions or not? You just, let's see. Let's do open with, and I like to open with preview. Go ahead and open it up. There it is. All right. So I need to, and I'll go over this again here. To make pumpkin 1, you're going to need the 13015 is a stock number or something at OESD. So you're going to need page this pattern 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. Okay, all the way to here, and then you have an optional block. You do not need to stitch unless you want to create your own little wedge doing whatever you want to do. All right. So we're on pumpkin 2. So 12 is what I did yesterday. There is 13 okay? 13 through 21 are the ones that I need, okay? So I'm going to scroll down here on my little side panel and look for there's the one I did yesterday. Okay, so there's the 1301512, and I'm going to do 13 today. So here we are. We have 13 selected on page 41, and I'm going to go to File and Print. I love that you can print from the preview. Selection in preview is just that one page, and I'm going to tell it print. Okay. Once that prints out, I'm going to go back over there, and I got to print another one. But you need to print these, and you have enough of your applique fuse and fix. Okay. You have enough. There's 20 sheets in here, and there are a total of 18 wedges. Okay. So I'm going to do 3 of these pages so that you can see. Well, actually, do I need? Yes, I do. I do. Yeah. I don't need to print it. Right? Right. I got to use it, but I don't have to print it. All right. Well, why not? Well, hold on. Okay. So we're good to go on this now. Now I need to scan that in. So let me come back over here and remove that. All right. They don't create stitches to put them together. They use the little, are you talking about the little? Just a minute, Pamela. Hold on, sweetie. Hold on, hold on. Mean you don't have to mirror? Hold on. Remember I said, all of the wedges are identical, okay? All of the wedges for each individual pumpkin are identical. They are not the same size between the different color pumpkins. All right, just hold on, chill. Oh, wrong button. Don't look at my wrinkles. Okay. Buttons and a buttonhole, that's how they go together. Yes, exactly. So let's turn on the ScanNCut. I'll turn it towards you so you can see what I'm doing. I do have the rotary blade in here because I'm going to be using fiberform. Let me turn that on. Okay. And I need to I'm going to use a 24-inch mat. If you don't have a 24-inch mat, or you don't have a machine that uses a 24-inch mat, you just can only do one 12-inch mat size at a time, okay? One 12-inch. No, they're not real buttons. They're made out of thread. And what we're talking about with buttons are these little guys. That's a little button, and there's the loop. And the button goes through the loop on its partner piece, and it holds it together. Okay. Okay. Yeah, my fiberform is on a roll too. All right. So here we go. I am going to use my scanning mat, my 12-inch. Where is it? I'm going to use my 12-inch scanning mat to scan my paper. Okay. And I'm going to put my fuse and fix in here that I have printed. Okay. So I'm going to put this in. Let me touch that, tell it okay. And now you're going to put the mat right between the blue shoulders on here. And this is the load the mat button. It's got a little mat within an arrows up and down. And so we're going to load the mat. Okay. Do you need to use the blade I'm using? No, Regina, you don't. You can give it a try. Okay. Now, you've got pattern and scan on here. Get you in here. Pattern are patterns that were in the machine when you bought it. Okay. Pull this up. So if you go to pattern, you're going to get things, designs, and whatever you can use. They were in the machine when you bought it. Then you've got scan. That's what I want to do. I want to scan this page. So I'm going to tap that. You have a direct cut. I don't want to do that. Okay. That will cut out, but not on this mat. It doesn't work on this mat because it's smart enough to know that this is not a cutting mat. Okay. Then we have scan to cut data and scan to USB. If you do a scan to USB, it will create a JPEG image. I don't want that. I want to scan to cut data because I want to cut these pieces out. So my scan area is 12 by 12 with a recognition mode is black and white. Either black and white or color will work. And I'm just going to hit start. And it's going to pull the mat in and take a picture of what it sees. Okay. Yeah, you do have you have an alligator clamp and little hemostats to help pull the buttons through the loops, y'all. We're going to do all that on Monday when I get back. Okay, so let's get in here and see what it's doing. I need to sip my water. Yesterday, my voice was shot. All right. Now, on this screen, it's asking me, do you want me to notice and recognize outside only? So here's a circle and a square that are welded together, and you cannot see where they overlap. This means outside only. Then this one over here, you have the circle and the square, and you can see where they're overlapped. You can see the lines inside. That means inside outside, which you would use for fonts that have a hole in them, like a B for Becky or a P for Power Tools, right? This one is for regions. I'm not going to use that. That's really used for color. I want outside only because I don't need the little words that are inside of those shapes. So I'm going to touch outside only. Okay. That looks pretty good. Now it's got a lot of noise on the image. And by noise, I mean, it sees the bottom of the paper. Whoops. It sees all the little words that were printed at the top. There's a lot of stuff on there that we don't need, but the shapes that we do need are just fine on there. So I could use my little things here. If you are not going to use canvas, you'll want to do this. I could use my little arrows and kind of crop these out. It picked up the 1-inch measurement square. I don't care about that. You can do that if you want. I generally don't, but I'm just going to tell, okay, I moved it. So I'm going to tell it preview. All right, that's fine. And I'm going to tell it okay. And it's going to process what it saw. Now, where do I want to save it? I could save it to the machine. I could save it to the cloud, to Brother Canvas, or not cloud, Brother Canvas workspace. It's a temporary data pocket is what it is. And then we have the USB. I could save it to a USB. This is why you don't have to have a Brother machine to be able to do this, okay? A Brother embroidery machine. You can save this to USB. Okay, we're good here. I'm going to save it to the temporary data pocket. And save successful. Okay. And I'm going to unload my mat and tell it okay. Your patterns will be deleted. That's okay. Don't worry about that because you saved it in the temporary data pocket. All right, here we go. All righty. So here we go. I'm going to open up Brother Canvas Workspace. So let's do that. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to do the infinity screen again. And it is right here. Okay, don't need that. I was working on something else. All right, so this is what the Canvas Workspace PC download version looks like. It is quite different from the online version, if that's what you're used to. The first thing you have up here, this is your percentage, your view percentage right there. There's your little hand. You can move things around. And here is a select tool. If you ever get lost, you can click on this little arrow select right here, and it will get you back to pretty much this location right here, okay? The first thing you have your shapes, and the shapes open up right there, and that's where you can choose and pick your shapes of anything you might need. Here is your text tool. You can click that. And you can choose your text fonts up here. It is a true type text, so it is using the fonts I have installed on my laptop. Here is how you import an SVG from your computer. Okay. And then you've got a few drawing tools. Okay. We've got this is a path, that's a freehand path, and that is image tracing. Okay. So over here, this is where your main stage is, your main mat. All right. And then over here, these tools, here are your properties. It looks like a little paintbrush. Okay. This is edit. Nothing is, you can't do anything because there's nothing on to select it. Okay. Here are the layers, which that's a new thing for us. We didn't have layers in Canvas Online. And then this one right here is important. This is the art board. And this is where you can change your art board from 12 by 12 to 12 by 24 if you want to do that. See? Nice. Love this. Show the mat image, show the grid. Okay, I like that. And the grid spacing is at 1 inch, just like my ScanNCut. Okay. I want to come up here to File. You may not be able to see that top menu, but you're going to choose File. And I want to import from my cutting machine. You want the FCM file. It didn't say it saved it as an FCM. Well, it didn't. It didn't say it saved it as an FCM, but it did. So there are all my pieces. Perfect. Okay. Let's get back. Let me move this, and I want to come back over here to you. Okay. You see the drop downs. Yeah, I figured you did. I know you can see the drop downs, but I don't know. I didn't know if you could see the file across the top. So here's the thing. Where was I going with this? We have a 10-inch wide fiber form, right? Okay. So just kind of keep that in mind. A 10-inch. I had something I wanted to tell you guys, and that wasn't it. That wasn't it. Let me get back to Canvas, and it'll come back to me. Okay. I'm going to add that back and go back to Canvas. Okay. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. And what I want to do, I know what I was going to tell you guys. I know what I was going to tell you. When you're using the ScanNCut, especially, well, it doesn't matter which, the old CM model or the SDX models. So the old CM model, you had to do a test on everything in order to make sure you had the blade at a deep enough setting to be able to cut stuff out, okay? On the SDX model, which are the blue ones, the CM models are the white ones with kind of a clear cover. The SDX models, they do an auto depth test, and so you don't really have to do the testing. Now, the fiber form is much thicker than the quilting cotton. That's going to be, it'll have stable stick on the back of it. Okay. So since the fiber form is thicker, right, then you cannot cut the fiber form pieces and your quilting cottons at the same time. If it comes over, it's going to come over, the blade will come over and it'll do an initial depth test right at the top of the mat to see where the mat is. And it'll get that number in its head. And then it'll go to something on the mat. It could be the fiber form, or it could be the quilting cotton if you have that on there. Well, the problem is if it goes to the fiber form and it cuts down, it figures out how deep the fiber form is, it'll cut that out fine. And then it'll come over to your quilting cotton and cut through your mat. If it goes, and after its initial depth test, and it goes to the quilting cotton and sees that it's a very shallow thing it's going to cut, okay, it'll cut that out fine. And then it'll go over to the fiber form and it won't cut through. So whenever you have different thicknesses of things you want to cut, you have to run them in separate cutting sessions. Does that work? That works. That's what I wanted to say. All right. So let's go back to Canvas. Y'all are over there yakking away, and I'm here working. It's fine. Usually what I do to clean up a mat, and this is what I call cleaning up a mat, I'm going to save everything that I want, which is just the fiber form right now, okay? And I'm going to take my arrow, my little arrow select tool, and I'm going to highlight everything else. Now, why are you selecting those pieces? Because I cannot cut them at the same time as the wedge, the pumpkin wedge. So I'm just going to hit delete on my keyboard. Now, I need to come over here. I want to leave just a little bit of room. I'm going to right click and duplicate. Okay. Whoop. Don't want to do that. Don't fiddle with the size of these things. I can get 2 of these side by side. You can do it like that. I didn't, and then you can get them a little bit closer. Okay. That looks good. I'm going to put this right up to the line there. Okay. And both of these, right click and duplicate. So there's 4, and I need 5. You would do 6. Whatever will fit on your mat. Okay. And that'll work. I need 5. So let me use this guy, right click and duplicate. Okay. And let's turn him around. Okay, just like this. Perfect. So how much fiber form do I need to cut, Carol? or whichever one of y'all, Connie, you're going to, or Cutie's mama, you're going to go like this and highlight everything. And if you come over here, let me move this. And you come to your properties. Let's see. Edit. That's it. Edit. Come to edit. I'm new at this too, you guys. I'm getting used to it. This tells me that what I have selected is 8.5 by 21.7. So I would cut I'm going to just leave it at 10, and I will cut a 22.5 or 23-inch piece. That's how you know how much fiber form you need. And you're going to be very, very exact, and that will work. Okay. Does that answer the question? Yes. Okay. Yay. LaDonna says, awesome, Becky. Thank you. Carol says, exactly. That's it. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that was Vicky. All right. Let's see. I don't want to miss anything. I know Betty Boop's on here. If anybody has any real questions about what I'm doing, you can put it in the chat. She will text me and let me know so I can answer it. Okay. So I'm going to use a 10-inch by, it was 21.07, 23 ought to work. I'm going to tape it down around the sides just to make sure nothing moves. Okay. That's how I'm going to do that. Cutie says I have a 24-inch mat. So yes, there you go. Okay. So let's come over here to my table. I don't need to hoop the stabilizer yet for the embroidery machine. Okay. And let's see, let me get this out the way. And get this out of the way. And I'm just going to cut a 23-inch piece. It does not matter which side on this stuff. All right. I don't have a rotary cutter or a ruler. Let's get that. And a pair of scissors. You never know. Scissors, rotary cutter, and ruler. Here we go. Okay. Never fails. As soon as you get going, this turns into a giant blah. Always, always. Okay. This is the little X-Acto knife thing I used I got these at Tooltron. I don't have a link, but tooltron.com. They're pretty good little scalpels to cut into your fiber form if you don't have one, and they're super cheap. All right, I need a 23-inch piece. I made sure everything was in that 10-inch margin of the width of this product. Okay. There we go. So I only had to print that thing one time so I could get the pieces, right? So now, okay, whichever side, it doesn't matter, okay? I'm going to take this, I'm going to turn this way, and I'm going to iron this down on here. I'll need 2 pages. Just like so, okay? Don't worry about coming out to your margins. You don't need to do that. So this is the Fuse and Fix. This has the super sticky underbelly. So here is the bottom of the piece that I'm going to cut. That was printed on my printer. This piece right here was printed on my printer. I had to do this so I could get the shape. And then I multiplied the shape multiple times in Canvas. And I don't need to print it again because I've already got the shape, right? Okay. So I'm going to go over to my ironing station and iron these on. And my chair's in the way. I use Hot Fix adhesive. If you want to use Hot Fix adhesive, I have a link below in the description box. It was designed and engineered by a gentleman by the name of Scott Mullins, and he lives in Florida. And he's awesome. And I have a coupon code for 10% off if you want to use that. If you want to try it out. We're going to use Hot Fix adhesive on the fabric. Okay. This is my applique, fuse, and fix. Okay. So there's the fuse and fix ironed on. And I only had to print 1 page, save an ink, which is nice, right? Now, I need to get my fabric cut, okay? I don't want to cut the fabric separate for the pumpkin wedges. I want to cut fabric, fiber form, fuse and fix, hot fix, whole 9 yards. I want to cut it all at one time. Okay. So I am going to cut a 10 by 22-inch piece of fabric and cut the rest of my wedges. I don't know if I have a 10 by 22-inch piece. Oh, yeah, I do. Do my little Susan Blair teach me how to cut fabric without elbows trick here. This will work. Let me see. I need to go to the 22, which is 10 inches. Okay. That's all done until I need the orange pieces for the 3rd pumpkin set. Okay. And then I need a 22-inch piece here. I'm not going to include the selvage. Okay. You can use heat and bond for this part of it if you want. Okay. And let me cut off my selvage. I don't want that on there. Okay. I can't really take you guys with me because I don't have that other camera hooked up. Maybe I can get it to reach. Let me see if I can get my ironing station camera connected. If the HDMI cable is long enough, let's see. Because I'm working in the center of my room, which is kind of tough. Okay. Let's see. Let me get this a little higher. Come on up. Just tighten that up. Turn that on. Let's see here, y'all. That'll work. Okay. Now. Ta-da! Yay! The magic of television, right? Perfect. Okay. There we go. So I'm just getting rid of the initial wrinkles on this. Now, the thing about hot fix adhesive, let me turn this on. The thing about hot fix is that you have to follow the manufacturer's instructions for, let me pull this up here. You have to follow the manufacturer's instructions for adhering hot fix, which is 12 to 15 seconds in each spot on both sides. Otherwise, it doesn't work very well. Okay. All right, Patsy, we'll see you later. Replay, my friend. Give the video a thumbs up before you go, if you wouldn't mind. Take care of that. I'd appreciate it. Oh, ice water. Good stuff. Good stuff. So I am heating up my Cricut press. I'm getting an HTV Ront auto press thing. Yay! Very excited. My husband says, where are you going to put that? That's neither here nor there, right? You have a Cricut Maker 4. You know it will cut the fabric, but the more you watch, the more you become convinced. You just need to go ahead and invest in a ScanNCut. Yes, Michelle. Now, you do not have to get the top of the line ScanNCut because they're kind of pricey, right? But I've got a link to them in my Amazon store. It's amazon.com/shop/power tools with thread. You can get them. You can get that SDX 85. It's pretty inexpensive, just a couple $100. Okay, you don't have to pay $1,200 because they're an investment. The thing about the Cricut Maker is it's great for cutting SVG files and all that, where you know where you're putting the vinyl in, you know where it's going to cut. With the way I'm doing business here, okay, it's really important that I'm able to scan that mat and it takes a picture of what it sees, and then I can move fabric and pieces wherever I want. That's really important. You like your HTV Ront? I'm looking forward to getting mine. Yeah, they got a new one out, and I'm going to get that. All right, I'm going to come over here. I just turned on the Cricut, but we can go ahead and get started with this anyway. It's at 245. It'll get up to 350 here in a minute. Okay, so I'm going to pull out the hot fix. And see, guys, I just like to put, I mean, if I'm going to do it, I want to do all of them at one time and get it done. So I'm just going to tack this down first and just get this on right here. This is not sufficient for a good adhesion for hot fix adhesive. The difference between hot fix and heat and bond, especially when you're using a ScanNCut, hot fix has a plastic backing. Heat and bond has a paper backing. Okay. I also like to keep handy. This is a, let me switch my deal here. Let's see. This is a piece of a Teflon iron liner. I got it at Bed Bath & Beyond 100 years ago. So if I have any hot fix that's sticking out here on the side, then what I do is I can take this and just put it, you know, kind of just over the edge just a little bit. And now I'm going to take this big dog and my I'm just going to tell it to go. It's set for 15 seconds, but it really only needs kind of 10 or 12 thereabouts. I think 12. Let me see. The instructions say, yeah. Let me go to my timer and I'm going to come down to 12. Okay. And then move it again. This way I know that it's on, it's good. Because, you know, the sole of this is pretty small, right? And let me put this here and do this last piece. Very handy. So that's why I'm looking forward to getting that HTV Ront, the auto press. That will be cool. I can just run a thing right through it. Pretty neat. Okay. All right. And the scissors. Here we go. Okay. Oh, don't get that on there. It'll stick. Woo, that stuff's hot. See, it pulled it up. Got to be careful. I've got too many things on my mind. I'm trying there. Let me do that. Get this out of here. So this is where you do a lot of upfront prep work to just make your life so much easier when it comes to putting everything together. It is the most efficient way to do this. Okay. And this little strip I save for future projects. Okay. And just like I said, whoa, see, it got stuck. It's that rubber. It's a rubber is what this is. That's why it's such a much better product. And it melted the piece that I set it against there. Let me get that out of here. It's like a very, very thin rubber cement almost, but it's not rubber cement, obviously. I don't know what it is, but it's sticky and it works good. Okay, here we go. You know, this Cricut is just more efficient than using that my little iron. Yeah, and that little iron is really good. And I put stickers on here from my P-Touch label maker, and it says SF101 325, wool 340, cotton 350, hot fix 350. Oh, I didn't press the button. Okay, well, we'll go one more. There. And that's it. So that's how quick it is to be able to do a good adhesion on this stuff. And I'm all done with my ironing for the hot fix part of it. Okay. So I'm ready to go put this on the other side of the fiber form. Okay. I'll get this. Y'all, I got to take all my fabric and put it together. Okay. Plus, what's really nice, I only use 2 pieces of the Fuse and Fix instead of 3 if you had to print them, you know, instead of 5, right? Instead of 5. Normally it would be 6, but I made one yesterday. All right. So now this is on the back. Here's the front. Doesn't matter that there's a gap. That's fine. If you see, I don't know if you can see it. I got a little gap. That's okay. Don't worry about that, where that is right there. If I could get it off, that would be great. There we go. Now this stuff is repositionable until you heat it, which is nice. Okay. There we go. I'm going to leave a little bit at the top and bottom. That looks good. All right. Back to the ironing board. Okay. It really sticks really well. You don't have to do the whole 10, 15 seconds. I want to make sure those edges are on there real good. So I see a little bit of the hot fix hanging out on that edge. So now we've got a thickness of fabric, hot fix adhesive, fiber form, fuse and fix. 4 layers of stuff. Okay. We're ready to go to the ScanNCut mat now. This is awesome. Let me come back over here. Okay. So here's my 24-inch ScanNCut mat. Take the plastic off of this. If you have a CM model ScanNCut, you can load the mat from either end. If you have the SDX model ScanNCut, it only loads one way. So notice how I've kind of ironed out the curl on that, okay? So this is looking good. And I'm going to set this like right here. And I'm looking at like my 1-inch boundary here, a little bit at the top. I'm going to press it all down. If you have a brand spanking new mat, you might want to season it a little bit with a t-shirt. Let me get my tape. Pounce a cotton t-shirt on there and season it a little bit. Now, I'm not going to take any chances, so I'm using paper tape. And I'm going to tape down the top and bottom and middle of this. Not taking any chances. You can put tape over the little black ruler up here at the top, but you can't cover the boxes, okay? You don't want to do that. I'm going to do it on the sides. And this should be good. I'm not taking any chances. All right, we're ready to cut. Nice. First things first, though. Let's come back over here. I need to disconnect the ironing board cable for now and bring you over here with me. All right. So, yeah, you know, you don't have a lot of call for that big press, but boy, when you've got it, it sure is handy, right? Okay. Now, let me turn this back on here. We've got to send the design from Brother Canvas down to the ScanNCut. So let's do that right now, okay? So I'm going to add this infinity screen to the stage. Let's go to Brother Canvas. Okay, so now I am going to go up to File and Export Transfer FCM file. And where do I want to save it? So you can save it to your computer to put it on a USB if you want. I'm going to transfer via the internet, or you can send it via Artspira if you're going to use that, okay? Because Artspira talks to your computer and your ScanNCut and your embroidery machine and all that. It says the registered machine is ready to download the transferred file. I'm going to tell it okay. And that looks good. And now I can click cancel. Perfect. All right. So now I know it seems like a lot, y'all. But here comes the magic. Okay. Oh, my grandson, Vicky, I am so proud of you for using your ScanNCut. She says, I feel so smart watching this because I know what she's talking about. You've been watching me for years and it sinks in, doesn't it? So my grandson makes these on his 3D printer, y'all. These are ScanNCut mat support legs, and we sell them at powertoolswiththreadstore.com. And he is saving for his college with these. I took a marker, so I took a pink marker and a green marker, so I know that the pink goes with the pink, like this. That's cool. And that hooks. You notice that they fit right here on one of these trays. There is a video on the Power Tools with Thread store site where this is located that you can watch how they're put together. Okay, I'm going to put this on. And then there is a center strut right here. And this goes right there and right here. And that just hooks right in here into your little trays. Now, the back, you've got little roof tops, okay? And those are going to clip on to the back tray of your ScanNCut. And you've got little extension legs here that just slip into that little slot. And it doesn't matter which one. The only ones that matter, these are dovetail, put together with dovetail connections, and that's why those matter. So, okay. All right, see you later, Peggy. Thanks for stopping in. Back here on the back of the ScanNCut, you have this little tray that comes out. It's an extension tray. And you want to put the rooftop, you want the rooftop down. And it just slides on right here. This, if you're using a 24-inch mat, y'all, this is so nice. These are nice and rounded so that when that mat comes through, it just slips right over that. It doesn't catch or bump or jump or anything. There we go. Okay, that looks really good. Very handy. All right. And we're going to put this in right here. Make sure everything is nice and taut on there. I'm going to load the mat. Uh-oh, it's crooked. Crooked. I know. It went in crooked. Okay. It helps to hold the shoulders real taut right there. Let me go to home and tell it, okay. Load the mat. There we go. Your support legs are in the mail. Awesome, Carol. Thank you. Okay, so here we go. Let me get you down here so you can see what's going to happen. What's the smallest size hoop needed to make the largest pumpkin on a Solaris? I think you can do it in a 6x10. You can do a single one in a 6x10. Okay, notice how the mat is supported and it's standing up. It's wonderful. It's not drooping down and to cause drag. So I'm going to come over here to retrieve data. Let me zoom you in so you can see the screen. And we've got glare, so I need to move the camera where we don't have any glare. Hold on here. Let's turn up. There we go. All right, we're going to go to retrieve data. Where do you want to get it from? From inside the machine, from the cloud, from a USB, or you might be cabled to your computer. I want to get it from the cloud. And it's getting what I just saw, what I sent down. There they are. Now I got a black bar across the bottom right here, okay? But what I'm going to do is go to my wrench. That's because this is set for a 12x12 cut, okay? So I am going to go to the wrench. And we're going to go to a cut area of the 12x24. Tap that and okay. And I've got light fabrics or dark fabrics. Let's use the dark background. I'm going to tell it okay. All right. And I'm going to hit the scan the mat button, that blue button. That's your money button. That's what makes these things cost so much money. And it's going to pull it in. Uh-oh. What happened? Oh, see, it's thicker. There is a lever over here to go to a 2 from a 1. I needed to do that. I'm going to tell it, okay, I did it. It's backing it out. No, there's no patent on this, Sonia. It's already out there in the marketplace. All right, I'm going to tell it start again. There we go. Now it's going in. See, so that's why you can only cut one medium at a time if they are different thicknesses. So look at how the back of the mat is being held up as well. There's no drag or droop. I love it. Yeah, these things are already out in the marketplace. What's the difference between 1 and 2? 1 and 2 is for thin things on the mat, and 2 is for thicker things. Let's get in here and take a look and see what we've got. Aha, looks good. Now, I want to move all of them at once, okay? So I'm going to go into Edit. And these 3 red boxes are the group buttons. I'm going to tap those. And it wants to know, do you want to group part of the mat or all of the mat? And I'm going to tell it all of the mat. So it selects everything. And I'm going to grab them, whoops, all of the mat, tell it okay. And now I can grab everything and I can move it all at once. Look how easy that is. Let's go down to the bottom and take a look. Everything looks good. I can even come a little bit farther down. I can see exactly where this is going to cut. And go back to the top. Everything looks good side to side, top and bottom. I'm happy. Are you guys happy? I'm very happy. I think this is going to look amazing. I'm going to tell it okay and okay. Please select and cut. There we go. And it says 5 minutes. We'll see. It'll probably reassess that. I'm going to tell it start. Okay, so it's going to pull in, and I want to show you guys. So it's doing that initial depth test. Oh, it already did it. It did it when it started. It's checking it out. So every time that rotary blade, every time the rotary blade makes a move change, like a different line curve, it goes and spins the wheel, which is why it takes as long as it does. Okay. If I'm not happy, which one am I? Yeah. So your ScanNCut does not take a 24-inch mat, but you read somewhere you can trick it to do so. I don't know. I don't know about that. So we're just going to let this thing do its thing, cutting these out, and let's get started on the fabric pieces, okay? Let's get started on the fabric pieces. The next thing I want to do before we get messing around with that, I'm going to take another piece of Fusion Fix and I'm going to print out the shapes for the next pumpkin wedge. It's that churn dash block. Okay, so I'm going to go put this paper side up. It doesn't matter, really. It doesn't matter. Okay, I'm going to put this in here. It does matter if you're doing them one at a time the old-fashioned way, like I was showing y'all, but it doesn't matter if you're doing it using this method. Okay. So let's go. All right. I'm going to add to stage here, and let's go back to preview. And here's our churn dash page, right? Yeah, here it is. So I'm going to go, let me make sure this one is selected here. I'm going to go to File and Print Selection and Preview. That's the only one I want. I'm going to tell it, I'm going to tell it print. All right. So let me go get it off the printer. Okay. I need to scan this into the ScanNCut, but I'm going to wait until this thing gets done. So let's go back now to Canvas. Okay, let me go over here. So here we are in Canvas. I've already got these working. Let me do a file, save as, and I'll save it here in my freestanding quilt blocks as pumpkin 2 wedges. Okay, and save. All right. So now I want to go File and New. That gives me a brand new mat. Okay. And let's go to a 12 by 12 artboard. There we go. And I want to file import from my cutting machine, the FCM. It's going to pull in the last thing that was there. Okay. Now, again, the way I clean up the mat, I'm going to select those things that I want to keep and pull them off the mat. I'm going to try to keep them in about the same order so I know what's what. Okay. And I'm going to make like we're doing 2 of these, but I'm really only going to do 1 for fabric because I did the other one as a single yesterday. Now I can highlight everything on the mat and hit delete. All right. So these 2 big triangles right here, this guy and this guy are green fabric. And this guy, I believe, and this guy are the white fabric, I think. And this is where you kind of got to look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all of those and I'm going to make a copy of them and then I'm going to flip them to mirror them. And that's what you do to make both. And then you figure out, are you done? Ooh, it thinks it's finished. Let's see. Now, I want to make sure that this is really cut and not just cut kind of. So what I'm going to do is go in here and I'm going to use my straight blade, the standard auto blade. I'm going to run it with this. And this is going to make sure that everything got cut completely through. Tell it okay. And please select and cut. Whoops, sorry, you can't see that. And start. It says 2 minutes. I'm going to listen and see if I hear it cutting any fiber form. There's the initial depth test on the mat. Let's see. I can hear it cutting through. That rotary blade did not cut all the way through. I have experience because I did this yesterday. This is the way you want to do this. The rotary blade has given you the initial cut. This is saying cutting 10 minutes. And I found that you have to wait for this thing to cut all the way through to where you don't hear any more fiber form being cut with the blade. I can hear it. All right, let's see. It's going back up to the top. It's going to do it again. Nothing wrong with running it twice. It's still cutting. Now, this is why you do not want to remove this until you know for sure it's totally cut out. Fail. Okay. Nancy says, I would have never thought to run a second cutting with the other blade. I think I would have been nervous about having something shift and not cutting exactly the same. Nancy, as long as you don't move the fabric or eject the mat, you're perfectly fine. If you eject the mat and you didn't move the fabric, you might be able to load it back exactly the same way. It should, but you never know. Okay. So this way, you know for a fact, nothing moved. So it's going to cut exactly the same. It says it's down to 3 minutes now. Let's see. I can still hear it. Okay, here we go again. I'm going to put this over here so you guys can hear it. Set the computer. So you can hear it cutting through the fiber form still. Okay. All right. So you're welcome, Nancy. I didn't run the rotary blade again, and I suspect it's because the depth of the rotary blade What I'm cutting is deeper than that rotary blade. I think that's why. Yeah. Usually I use the rotary blade on like cork and wool and felt and all that, but this had so many layers of stuff. All right, now let's doing it again. The cutting sounds were muted, sorry. Yeah. It's getting better. When it cuts completely through, you won't hear anything. Okay, so I'm going to go. Did I unplug my machine when leaving for a trip? I do, because Hubs doesn't think about it if we have a storm. All right, one more time. It thinks it's almost, it says one more minute. We'll see. Okay. So if this is the white and this is the green, right? Right click, duplicate. Okay, I'm going to take the one that I duplicated and I want to come over here and on edit, I want to flip horizontal, and that mirrors those pieces. Okay. And then I need to turn it around, I think. Yep. So I've got all the white over here and all the green over here. See that? That's how you do that. It wants to keep going. Yep. Let me see. Are you done? Nope. Let's see here. I don't know why that's not cutting all the way through. All right. Let me see. I do want to see through the bottom of this. I'm impatient. Let me put it on pause. Let me pull this up. Let's see where we're at. So I can feel the cut. It's not completely through there. Okay. So now I need to get the stable stick on the back of my pieces. Now I'm only going to do it on half because I already did that. So I'm going to hit delete on these. Okay. And I need to wait until this is finished. It's real close to being done. I can hear it just keeps getting a little bit more every time. Kind of like mole surgeon, right? Trust the machine. That's right. Got to get clean margins on this thing. If I put it back on, would that help the depth? It's taken just a little bit down farther and farther every time. I bet you it goes one more. It is much quicker than trimming in the hoop. Now it's quiet. Okay, it's gone all the way through. I cannot hear it. I cannot hear it cutting the fiber form anymore. So the last time it did it was the last time it needed to. Now it's just double checking. Yep, that's good. Okay. Now this stuff you don't really trim in the hoop, except the fabric you do trim in the hoop. Okay, when you're doing them one at a time, you do have to trim the fabric. You don't have to trim the fiber form because you trim that first. Okay, we're all done. You're done. You're done. I'm going to tell it quit cutting and okay. And let me make sure down here. Like I said, I heard it. It was no longer cutting the fiber form. Look at that. That's worth the time and effort right there. It is absolutely perfect. So this has, Debbie says, ta-da, patience rewarded. Yes, it is exactly cut to the size it's needed for each pumpkin wedge, all 5 of them at one time. So this has the fuse and fix on the back. It has the shape, the fiber form. It has hot fix adhesive, and it has the fabric on top for all of my wedges at once. This is the longest part of the cutting because of the shape. See, and I didn't have to run it through the printer more than once. You just need to put it on the back. It is magic. It's worth the price of admission. I love that, Anne. I love that. It is magic. So you can just peel these right up. You're not leaving any paper on the mat like you do with Heat and Bond. This hot fix adhesive is fan-stinking-tastic. I love it. Let me get my tape up and maybe I can save it for another run. These big pieces. Okay. I love this. Absolutely fantastic. Ta-da. Okay. Okay, this piece here cut through. So I'm just going to leave this on here because it's pretty sticky. I want to make sure that stays on there so it doesn't stick anything it shouldn't. All right, excellent. And we can eject the mat. Perfect. Love it. Love, love, love. All right. So now I need to make sure that the green and the white fabrics are going to cut like they're supposed to, and everything's going to look like it's supposed to. Elizabeth says, thank you for sharing this. I was trying to figure out if you had to order the sheets or get the roll. Whatever. It works. But look how efficient this was to cut all of these at one time. So it, you know, again, it is going to save you time in the end on each hooping. Okay. All righty. So let's get to, I need to make the next pieces for the other half of this pumpkin. So you see how the big triangles are in the green, right? Now let me go back to my, this here. And I just want to double check on my orange pumpkin up here. On the second one. Yes. Okay. Big pieces in the green. Yep, that's right. On that one. Okay. And then it just goes into this, telling you how to do the leaves and all that. Now, I was able to do the leaves and the base and the stem base. And no, I was able to do 3 of them at a time in there. I'm looking to see. I just want to double check. Y'all, they've got the little buttons on the outside, and I actually did mine on the inside. Has anybody ever done that and put them to the inside? See, on both of these, the big triangles are in the green. Okay, that's what I wanted to know. There we go. So let me come back over here to canvas. All right. And so this is the white and this is the green. And I'm going to file and export transfer FCM. And I want to send it via the internet and tell it okay. Now, again, if you we're doing both of these at the same time, you would use that duplicate and mirror, okay? And you do it all at one. Oh, they don't wonder why there's a run on the pumpkin supplies. No, no, OESD, Ann says, I bet OESD is wondering what's going on. Oh no, they're in on this, believe me. Yeah. All right. So now what I need to do, I need to make sure that my white fabric and my green fabric are ready to go. And it doesn't matter where they are on the mat because we're going to move it all around, right? So I need to get my stable stick ready. This is my stable stick I got going on right here. This is what this is. Okay. And that stable stick, the nice thing about, you didn't see my computer? Sorry. The nice thing about the stable stick is that when you peel off the backing of this, it's got a nice, it's got a really nice adhesive. Okay. So once again, I need to get my white fabric. Now, here's what you can do. Let's go back to the computer and I'll show you Brother Canvas and we'll do that one more time. Marianne says, I didn't see your computer. Hold on a second. Let's go back to Brother Canvas. All right. Let's go back to Brother Canvas. So I can highlight both of these and I can see that my white fabric pieces I need are 3.58 by a little over 2.5. So I'm going to add an inch to both. So let's do a 4.5 by 3.5 inch piece of white, 4.5 by 3.5. Okay. So I'm going to cut that right now. Let me see. I got a little scrap here. 4.5 by 3.5. If I was doing both, I could use this whole strip, but I don't want to waste that. So we have a 4. So there's my 3.5, and we will do a 4.5 inch strip piece right there. Okay, that's what I need for my white. You can move them around if you want, okay, and conserve even more fabric. So there's my white fabric. And then the green pieces are, let's do 4.5 by 4 is fine. 4.5 by 4. Okay. So let me get my little dark green pieces here. I'm going to cut off this little end. Don't y'all hate that? These little things. I'm going to cut this off of here. We'll do 4.5 by 4. Or 4.5 by 4.5, just to make sure we have plenty. 4.5 by 4.5 would be fine. Okay. Now, once again, you need to get your hot fix adhesive going because we're going to adhere. Michelle, I put the buttons on the inside, but I'm not sure. Yeah, the large panel is not mirrored. Correct. Thank you, Betty Boop. It's the same. All of the pumpkin wedges are identical. Okay. Now, I'm going to go put hot fix adhesive on the back of this fabric. Okay. And then I'm going to iron it. I don't think this is iron. I'm not sure. I don't think this is iron on. Let's go over to the ironing station. So I got to move the computer over here again. Get this way over here and plug in the camera for iron, or for the, yeah, plug in the camera for the ironing station. And that's on, and I need to press the button so you guys can see what I'm doing. There we go. Yeah, so this right here, that's not iron on. It's nice and soft, okay? But you can see that doesn't work. So you have to have hot fix adhesive on the back of your fabric. So I'm put this down here. Put that right there. I do use my selvage in this part because I'm not going to put my fabric pieces on the selvage. The selvage is just going to be the extra little grippy that I use to hold it to the mat. Oh, Betty Boop, I saw Matt Gomez yesterday and he asked about you and said to tell you hi. We had lunch with him and Tammy Armstrong. Let's see. What is going on here? Why is that not adhering? Is this off? This is off. What happened? My iron kicked off. Huh. I must have accidentally hit it. Not hot enough. Let me see here. Iron, iron, iron. Betty Boop used to work with us in the same building, too. That's working pretty good right there. I need to get this little piece up here. Make sure it's got its adhesion on there. So again, if I was doing both pumpkin wedges at one time, I would have more fabric. So, and one set of them would be mirrored. You just send it down to the ScanNCut and then you're off to the races. There we go. I don't know how my iron got turned off. Okay. Whoa. Let me cut this piece off here. That's not a good piece because it got its thing. That was my fault. User error. Okay. Now I'm going to pull the hot fix off the back of this. Whoop. See, this is what happens when you don't follow instructions. If it's pulling up and you're getting that, that's because you didn't iron it on long enough. Okay. So now I'm going to put it on the fuzzy side of the stable stick. Okay. Just like this. Oh, I don't have to worry about that. That stable stick is not sticky. So let's hold this for 10 seconds. And I'll just count 10 Mississippis here. And then put this here, 10 seconds. And make sure it holds on nice and good. Okay. Okay. So you don't have to cut it apart if you don't want to. Okay. You don't have to trim it down if you don't want to. You're going to want to take a magic marker of some sort. Let me find one here. A dark color. And on your white, okay, you're going to want to draw registration lines so that you can see a dark color. This one's dry in the trash. I haven't used it in so long. Oh my goodness. Let's see. No, I don't think that was going to work either. Okay. You're going to want to draw dark registration lines so you know exactly where the edges of your light fabric are. It's hard to see sometimes, but this is going to help you make sure that they're in the right spot. You can see the edge there because of the green, obviously. All right, so this is ready to be cut out on the ScanNCut now. Cool. All right, ready? We just sent it down from the ScanNCut. Now, if you want, I would recommend you spend a day pre-cutting all of your pieces, parts and pieces. Okay, and then all you have to do is, you know, get your embroidery machine going and you're ready to go. I need another mat. I need a cutting mat. Let me see. I'm going to cut this because I zigged my mat. I restuck my mat with zig glue and it's really sticky. So I'm going to cut it fabric side down. So I need a mirror. And I'll remember to this time at the machine. I need the mirror. Let me see. I'm going to set the edge of the fabric, the white fabric, right on the 11-inch, I think. Let me do it down here. I'm going to set it right on the 11-inch line, and the top of it, the white fabric, on the 6-inch line. And that'll be better. So that's how I have it on there. You can mark it again and on your, if you want to take a pencil, if you can get it. Just make yourself some registration marks so that you can see where stuff stops and starts. Your ScanNCut will pick that up. Okay. All righty. Yeah, I do need to mirror. I am going to mirror. Yep. Okay, let me load the mat. Let's see. Got an attitude. There we go. I'm going to put it back down on one. I'm going to go to home. All right. Okay to delete. Okay. Retrieve data from the cloud. And there they are. Looks good. These guys, let me go to the wrench. My cut area is a 12 by 12. Tell it okay. And tell it okay. I've got a light background. Hold on. With that paper, that stable stick on there. So the green ones are kind of over here somewhere. And the white ones are kind of over here. Let me move these. It doesn't have to be exact. This is really nice. I'm just getting them in the neighborhood. Okay. So I want to scan the mat, tell it start. And it's going to pull it in and take a picture of what it sees. All righty. There we go. Oh, you had half cut on, Renata? I've done that. User error once again. All right, let me move these down here into the white fabric where they go. Okay, and my green ones are going to go here. I think I want to rotate this one just a little bit. I'm going to go to Edit, Object Edit, and Rotate. And let's do a rotation there. That way I know it's going to fit on that green fabric. Now, nobody told you. Sometimes it jumps around when you let loose of it. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to go to OK. Select all, group it, group the whole mat. OK. Object Edit, flip, perfect. Tell it OK. Tell it OK. Tell it OK. It's very insecure. Please select, cut, start. There we go. I didn't tape it down. I hope it sticks. Pretty sticky. Yeah, you would want to take like a whole day, get all your pumpkin pieces cut out for each pumpkin, put those into a, put each pumpkin, yes, I mirrored, Peach, put each pumpkin into a Ziploc. Yay. Yay, 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 I love it. And put the pieces that go with that pumpkin in the Ziplocs. Okay, there's my greens. And the moment of truth comes when I load the design, right? Okay, we are all done. Perfect. I'm going to leave all that right there. Let's hit OK and eject the mat. And I'm done with this. I'm going to take my supports, take them apart, because I'm finished for the day with these guys. Okay. All right. You kind of got to take the little rooftops and put them in the deepest part. Ta-da. Perfect. Put your toys away when you're done, y'all. Okay. I like to leave it out. Okay, I'm going to turn that off. Perfect. These are the pieces that are the mirror of the first wedge. Yes, absolutely. Okay. Let's bring Spanky over here. Now, this is the coolest thing. You have a multi-needle. This is a cart. This is a little box. It's a little wire cart. It's not a cart. What is it? It's designed to hold computer cables on the underside, okay? And you just screw it on, and it's nice and flat, and I like it because it's white, so it looks good. This holds both rolls of the stabilizer because you need 2 layers of the stabilizer. And it just stays on here and moves around, and it's awesome. Okay. So I'm going to take my hoop. This is the, what's the millimeter on this? This is the 8 by 14. Okay, for the multi-needle. Let me take this. I've got my bobbins all made up. I've got my thread all on the back of the machine. Okay. Okay. And I'm just going to take these. I've got my, I'm nice and loose here. Okay. And I'm just going to take this and pull it up and over. Just like a gift wrap station, y'all. Just like a gift wrap station. So stinking handy when you're doing these multiples like this. Okay, that looks good. And now I'm going to take the inner hoop and put it in here. Just like this. Get in there. And I'm going to take my handy dandy brother screwdriver, Sam driver they call it. I don't know why. Doesn't make any sense. Get that nice and taut and tight. I want a good hooping here. And again, just like yesterday, okay, here's the trick. You want to take your T-head pins. Let me get you in here so you can see what I'm doing. Okay. You can even recess this just a little bit. You want to take that T-head pin, and I'm going to put it right in the split where those 2 hoops come together, those 2 pieces. And I want to get it to come out, if I can, the other side, and leave that T-head flat. And that's going to prevent, you can't see that. That's going to prevent this stabilizer from being drawn in, okay? So you pull it taut on both sides of the hoop. And I'm going to take this other T-head pin here, and it goes right in between, in the middle of the long stretch. You don't really need to do it on the ends. Okay, and it has gone through both pieces of stabilizer, and that T-head is going to prevent draw in. So this is ready to go. Okay, now I've oiled the machine. I have my orange bobbin in there right now. Okay, and what I'll do with this basket, that's what it's called. It's a basket. With this basket, I'm just going to pull this up just a little bit to give it some slack. so it has room to move as it needs to. Okay. All right. I need my USB drive. I think it's on this orange one. I think it is. I think it is. Let's see. USB. No, let me see. August JUJU Sweet Pea Body Bag. No, it is not. It's on the other one. Sorry. I hear you, Cricket. Beeping at me, telling me you're shutting off. I don't care. Okay. USB. Okay. There's our OESD pumpkins. I'm doing, let's see, there's 1 through 10. I did 12 yesterday. Here's 13. It's okay. That looks good. Set and edit end. All right. Oh, one thing you want to do on this, let me go back. Let me go back into edit. You want to take this design, if you're doing it even on a single needle machine, okay, you want to take this design and you want to move it as close to the edge until it knocks, or as far as it'll go, so that you're using up all of your stabilizer. You're not going to have a big old chunk of stabilizer at the end that you haven't used. Okay. So every time I hoop, I'm going to, another piece of it, I'm going to shove it all the way to that end. Let me go to edit end. Now the hoop just moved. I'm going to go to my spools. This is going to be spool number 4, which is the orange. And I'm going to put a stop at every single one of these. It's orange. Oh, is that right? Let me back up. No, let me go back here. I'm going to do one, the white. We'll do white. Let me double check. I do recommend stitching your tack down lines so that you can make sure that every single, if you need to do any micro trimming, you can take care of that. So I do recommend the tack down lines. All right. I'm doing, you know what? I'm going to go back up here to this 4. I guess it's okay that it's got an orange bobbin and all of that. I guess that's all right. Yeah. Because I have an orange bobbin in there. Now I've got the orange thread. If you don't already have an orange bobbin in here, the base color of all of this, you need to put a stop and make sure that you've got the orange bobbin. And then here we go. This is the white. So I need to put a stop so I can put it in the white bobbin, spool number 1. And there's your green. I need to put a stop so I can change out to the dark green bobbin, which is spool number 3. And that'll do it. That'll be okay. And embroidery and lock and go. It says a 21-minute stitch out. Okay. All right. So, I did not, it's okay that it's got an orange bobbin. It's going to have a lot of stuff between the bobbin and the top of the fiber form, so it doesn't matter. And for the placement and the tack downs, I left it in white thread because that's perfectly fine. It has a very dense, satin stitch. Okay, so here we go. I've got enough room here. I'll let you guys see what I'm doing. I need now to take my pumpkin and get the back off of it. That was between the 2 pages. No big deal. Whoop. Took too much. Hold on. Let me get the back of this. There we go. This is why you need the fuse and fix, is because of how sticky it is, and it doesn't need to be ironed. I would not want to get an iron near my water-soluble stabilizer, to be honest. Let me make sure it's, I'm looking down on it here. This looks good. Okay. If you want to, you can be stitching these out while you've got other pumpkin wedges cutting away in your ScanNCut. Okay. Always make sure that if you run a multi-needle, Make sure you get that hoop down in there and it locks. On this, the little pegs are in, especially on this one. Okay, I'm going to let it do the tack down. Let me show you what happens if your pegs aren't where they need to be. Let me see. Do I have it here? Yeah. Here's what happens if you're... What's the matter? What happened? My upper thread unthreaded. Why did you do that? Okay. Let me turn this. What happened? Whoops. Got down in there. That happens. No big deal. Okay. Push this through. Yeah, once your ScanNCut starts cutting out the fiber form, then you can go ahead and pop the design into your embroidery machine and get going while it's doing its thing, and just create a little industrial line, a little assembly line of stuff, and you can be stitching and so efficient all at once. Okay. That's just a tack down, and we know it's going to be all right because it fit the placement line exactly. So I'm not going to go back and start at the beginning. It's going to go around twice. There we go. Now, don't freak out if it's not stitching on the fiber form, not the first time, but it'll come in about 1/8 of an inch. There it goes. Now it's getting the edge of the fiber form. Don't worry about it if it misses it the first time around. See how narrow that of a seam that is? It's okay. This is where you would now stop the machine and cut your orange fabric away. Thank you, Laura, for your sticker. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, so we're all done here. That's very generous of you, sweetheart. I'm just going to lock and go. I don't have to do anything. I need the placement line. I believe it is the green first, I think. Is it green or white? It's the white. How do I know? I can see it right up here. Whoop, you kind of come up here. See where it's stitching? It's got that little crosshair. It's stitching on the white. Okay. Let me unzoom this. Hold on. That's good right there. Okay. So now I'm going to take my little white pieces. We're going to make sure everything fits. Oh, y'all, I shouldn't have mirrored it. Is that right? Shouldn't have mirrored it. Nope. These are for the ones from yesterday. Yep, I did a boo-boo. Why didn't I do that? Okay, no big deal. No big deal. I got some white right here with stable stick on it already. I'm just going to put it over it. I always get confused on the mirror. I should not have mirrored it. Yeah. And I'm just going to run the tack down. See, that's the thing. If you make a mistake, you can always do it the old-fashioned way real quick. Not a big deal. I'll let that trim down and I'll cut it away. If I hadn't have done it on 2 separate days, it'd have been a success for sure. Let me see here. I need another piece of stable stick. What do I do with that? Oh, it's over there. Uh-oh. It's stitched too much. Stop. Okay, let me get this off here. Well, it went ahead and it stitched down. It didn't stop. Why didn't it stop? I'm going to cut this out right here. Get my white pieces trimmed. And it already did a line. Not a big deal. It'll be fine. That's what I always say, y'all. It'll be fine. Let me trim this. Why? I made it stop. Why didn't it? I heard it go ding dong and then it kept on stitching. Did you hear that? That was weird. Let me trim this off. Okay. Now it's got white right here where I don't want it. It doesn't matter. Leave it be. And let it finish stitching what it's doing, the other placement line for the green. Okay. Okay. Oh, it doesn't have the little hand on there. I wonder why. I guess I missed some. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and put this green on here. Just going to put that on there like that. No heat and bond. And I'm just going to place this over and stick that down and let it do its final tack down stitches. No problem. No big deal. Those are Ginger scissors. Y'all, I've had these for 12, 14 years. They're wonderful. They're in my Amazon store. They're not cheap. Don't get cheap scissors because they hurt your fingers. These are double curved embroidery scissors from Ginger. Best in the industry. I've never had them sharpened. Okay. Well, this would have been faster if I hadn't mirrored. It would have worked. I used the same pieces from yesterday. I should have used my duplicate mirror set. That's where I went wrong. That's all right. Live and learn. Again, no big deal. Everything, just about everything in machine embroidery is recoverable, right? Let's see. I need to make sure. I don't want to cut that white fabric under there. See why you cut your pieces first? Okay. Because cutting in the hoop is not my idea of a good time at all. Okay, so all of the applique is now done and everything else is just nonstop embroidery. And with the multi-needle, I don't have to stop and change threads. Now, you do want to make sure that if you've got, you know, on your applique, you want to get really close to that. I need my glasses so I can see. Let me see here. Okay. Is that you texting me, Betty? Yeah. What's up? Got to run. Okay, bye. Have a good time. All righty. Betty Boop is leaving. She's left the building. Okay. Good to go? This is ready. Locked in and lock and go. And it's going to go to color number 4 and it's got an 11-minute stitch out on this. Okay, so that's it. The rest of it is just going to do its thing. Okay. Yeah, I have the large duckbill too. I use that to cut out stabilizer away from like garments and stuff. This thing is loud. Going to town. All right, you guys, that's it. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you for sticking with me through this. If you have got a ScanNCut, I highly recommend download Brother Canvas online and scan in what you need to do and make your multiples and get going. Okay. No, I didn't change the bobbin because it was orange when I started. We're good. Yeah. I didn't cut it out with a scan. I did cut it out with a ScanNCut. They were mirrored the wrong way. Everything was cut out with the ScanNCut. It was just mirrored the wrong way. So, all right, you guys, this has been a lot of fun. I am not having Situation Room Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I am flying to New Hampshire to teach an applique. So I'm looking forward to that. And if you're going to be there, I really look forward to meeting you. I will see you guys in the Situation Room on Monday. I hope you have an amazing rest of your week. Thank you for your super stickers. Thank you for all of your well wishes and safe travels. All right. I will talk to you later. Y'all go sew something. Bye.